as possible. Now, for additional support, what we have here is we have this whole conversation recorded, so that just in case if you guys want to go through it, write down some notes. I think I'll be sending you the recording through all the counselors who have been chatting with you guys. Based on that, you guys can take some notes and share the goodness of what you've learned through this. Now, couple of things to be sorted out as to why you are sitting here on a Saturday morning without watching a movie, without sleeping, without going and playing some cricket is for the purpose of your life. That purpose is to sort out your own career plans. No one would do it unless you help yourself. No one would do this for you unless you have to be ready to help yourself. We are basically there to make the process easy. But unless you have an urge on this, you're not going to do. So I have already people coming into this session, and the session has started. We are expecting close to 70 plus students. We have got already 73 students here. The main purpose is that I need to talk to those who have a urge or a thirst or a matter of fact a huge interest to become a doctor. Okay, that's the whole end of this story. That's the whole idea of us. We just want to create more doctors. The most noble profession in the world is that it's a dream profession which everyone basically should do. This is what we are basically working towards. The whole process is to understand that everyone from their childhood days, their parents like to see themselves as their kids as doctors. Whenever you go to a hospital, you would have seen that when doctors work, how much has that made it so interest to you guys that what this profession is going to do. You know that the side kick on this is that doctors live a very um, successful career. They earn quite a lot, they live a comfortable career, but that's like point number 6 or 7. There is much more things to do, and the demand for these doctors became quite high with this which you are seeing in my screen. I would like everyone to keep notes on this. If you have a pen and a paper, if you don't have pen and a paper, you can get it while I'm doing all this. If not, you have to take your screenshots immediately, right? So if you go on Google and say demand for doctors post COVID-19, now where does International Medical Campus come in here to help students is in the medical arm of IMC, which I'm going to discuss with you. We have array of universities which are there to answer your request. Now, the importance of this career went high with this demand for medical doctors post COVID-19. I know COVID-19 has not been a good thing at all for many people. But do you know that there are certain industries who went above others during COVID-19? Example, the medical industry. Example, the biomedical industry, the pharmaceutical industry. So, what are the industries which actually went down with regarding to COVID-19? Was industries like transportation, tourism and things like that. Okay, I have a comment that I cannot be heard, but Shafra, can someone send a message to Safra to press the audio button twice and to come on, because so far the sounds can be heard by myself, right? So what happens is, personally I have met a lot of students who were looking at a career in medicine and who was looking at an equal parallel career, right? You know what is the most equal parallel career? You go and study piloting or aeronautical sciences and so on. Now you know that in the next 2 years, people are not going to travel. The demand for piloting courses has actually dropped drastically. Okay. I, in fact, have students who went into aeronautical engineering who left aeronautical engineering because number one, universities have closed down their teaching components with regarding to that. There is no simulation training which is happening because airports are limited in most of the places, right? people who are having jobs in this field have reduced. Okay, and the COVID-19 has actually affected so much so that in the next 2 years this will go on. This is called the after effect or the aftermath effect. So there are a lot of people who have given up certain careers, but we have to actually look into some careers which are lucrative. The lucrative careers are this, and you can see what is happening here with regarding to the demand of medicine. The most in demand of doctors after COVID-19, is this particular link. This is in August 2020. This is in 2020. Next is the most in demand doctors after COVID-19 with regarding to physicians. The demand for psychiatric doctors, all this have been, guys, increasing because of a certain thing. That's where the international medical campus comes into play, when we want to actually give you the proper sense of guidance of what we are going to have here. Now, if your parents are there with you, inform your parents that uh, some of our some of our some of some of our parents always ask us about the safety of how these universities are going to work with us. Now we have some universities where the international medical campus has gone forward to place Sri Lankan officers there. Okay, Sri Lankan officers, Sri Lankan officers in these countries. So in these countries, when Sri Lankan officers are there, they will actually help you with it. So look at this chart which we have here. These are the universities which I have. Okay, with these universities, um, I will show you the state universities we have. Okay, do you want to study in a very affordable but a government university? I would recommend you the Belarusian options, which actually has the state university components, right? If you want to look into Russia, I have a couple of universities in Russia, what you see in the screen. If you like to study in Malaysia in a group of private universities, I would give you these sense of private universities which are here. At the end of the day, guys, we want to create a dream like this. We want to create a picture for you. What is the picture which we like to create is to make sure that we enhance your career. In enhancing your career, we like to see how we can actually add a story into your life. The stories of these students who you see in my screen. Okay, this girl is from Visaka. This girl is this boy who studied at Gateway and St. Joseph's. He studied in Maldives. All these people, what they have been doing is, guys, quite interesting, right? They came and met us. Some are who are sitting with me are after O levels. Some who are sitting with me today are after A levels. Some have done A levels first shy, second shy, third shy. At the end of the day, I need to see students who are serious actually to study medicine with us. This is Joel Albert's Instagram page. You can check it by your own self. This is how he has upgraded his Instagram, Facebook pictures. He showed the entire world literally that those people who thought that he cannot do medicine, those teachers who had punished him, those friends who had laughed at him, those people who had let him down, those people who have challenged him, at the end of the day, he has given everyone the chance of their lives to actually make everyone silent after 5 years or 4 years going and performing surgery at the reputed Witeb State Medical University. This is what it is. This is what it is with regarding to what people are doing now. If these pictures and photographs are tickling you up, is it tickling you up? Is it tickling you up? Then what happens is you have to see that this is something which you need to do in your life. Is this pictures making you saying that, hey, hold on, I think I should be in these pictures, I think I should be in these photographs, this is the exact story of my life which I want to paint. Again, this is in Sri Lanka. This is where the three friends in Sri Lanka, and this is where they did what they were doing in Belarus. I spoke to Joel some time back, and I asked him, how was your feeling after you posted this picture in the pediatric ward? And he said that You know, those teachers who punished me, those teachers who actually gave me a hard time, are the same teachers who are telling me that, Joel, if I get a grandson or a granddaughter, I want you to treat that person in hospital. I want you to treat that person in hospital. This is the level we want to take students into. If you think that you are part of this, you are at the right place with me. Okay. This is a student who was playing around with seashells, tortoises, turtles around Maldives, and he had a plan, but he was not sure whether he had the right ingredients to work with it. And he worked with us, and these students who have had a miserable A level grade, they worked with us to understand that you also still can study medicine. So from here onwards, they have gone into studying surgery and things like that. This is my batch in Belarus, and this is some of the other photographs I'm sharing with you. This is an example of one of the largest batches which International Medical Campus has been sending across. As I told you, we have Sri Lankan officers. As you know, we have Sri Lankan officers. Anyone from Royal College would identify this picture. This is the background of Royal College. This is Zishan. All these students are updating their photographs like this. Okay. Finally, guys, before we close off, I would like to give you the crust of this particular session. Everyone needs to find out answers for this particular slide and leave off today, and that is why we are there to help you. Number one, we want to help you to search a good medical university in 2021. I repeat, we want to search a good university in 2021. Second is, we want to help you to understand how do you become a consultant doctor, a consultant, a specialist. That's what we want to do with you. Number three, before I will be finishing, guys, with this particular slide. The third one, I want to help you to find out about medical licensing exams in our university. Number four, how to find out the salaries and benefits of doctors. Number five, how to find out by becoming a doctor through O levels and A levels. So doctors can come into the medical programs through the O levels or through the A levels. How should I do that? How do I find a medical specializations, and how can I become a doctor in the United States, UK, Australia if I don't want to come to Sri Lanka? So with this, I will remind you about our website. In the universities, our list of universities are there. And in the International Medical Education Fair, like Mandy said, we are there to help you out with all these universities. Okay, so adios, guys. I would be talking to you once again after a few minutes. I give the hosting to Mandy to take on from here. Keep in touch, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Intikab. So we are going to go ahead with our first speaker for today. So everybody who has got in touch with us was made aware that we have 4 universities who would be taking part with us today. And first and foremost, we would be inviting Ms. Hani Suhani, the Senior Admissions Manager of Newcastle University Medicine, UK, Malaysia, to represent Newcastle University, Malaysia. Ms. Hani, can you hear me? Hello, Ms. Hani. We cannot hear you, Ms. Hani. I think you are on mute. If you could unmute your microphone, then of course we could hear you.
Okay. Can you
All
hear me
right,
now?
yes,
Yes, because just now I can't unmute because it's being blocked by yourself.
yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Hani, for joining with us today. We are extremely glad to have you on board. So we have 83 plus students joined online from Sri Lanka who's willing to, hear you out and see why they should select Newcastle Medicine, UK in Malaysia. Over to you.
All right. Okay. Let me first share my screen. Okay, good afternoon from Malaysia or even good morning in Sri Lanka. All right, I'm Hani Shuhaimi. I'm the admission manager at Newcastle University Medicine, Malaysia. And today I would like to share with you about our main program, which is the Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. I hope you can hear me before I start my slide. Okay, all right. And as you know, we are located in Malaysia. We are at the southern part of Malaysia. We are in Johor. We are very near to Singapore. We are 3 hours away from KLIA or Kuala Lumpur. We are not in the city center. We are in the southern part, which is a Johor or Johor Bahru. And our program, it is a 5 years medicine MBBS program in UMed Malaysia. It is all 5 years in Malaysia. Our program is the only program being accredited by the GMC and MMC. GMC stand for General Medical Council from UK, while MMC, since we are located in Malaysia, we have to be accredited by Malaysian Medical Council. And the standard that required us to conduct MBBS in Malaysia are the same standard as required by UK. And the assessment is identical, where our student, even though you are in UK or in Malaysia who study MBBS, you are also will be sitting the same examination at the same time as UK students. So meaning that student in UMed Malaysia, they'll be sitting the examination in the afternoon, while student MBBS in UK, they'll be sitting the examination in the morning. And we ensure that our MBBS program also under the quality assurance that the course is conducted as the same as what we had in Newcastle, UK. Okay, so our course is not a traditional approach. We are more basically on case-based and integrated. It is being structured through an interdisciplinary clinical cases where you learn a hands-on and early clinical practice or early clinical contact from as early as year one. And we want our students to emphasize their medical studies on critical thinking as well as we want to develop their power in clinical reasoning. Okay, so we in Newcastle, UK are here, or Malaysia, whether in Malaysia or whether in UK, we conduct our course in a mixed teaching method. So we want to put a strong emphasis on evidence base. We want to put a strong emphasis on innovative and interactive teaching methodologies. We also take our staff development very seriously. So majority of our staff, if you can see from the pictures here, they are actually have their medical certificate or medical education certificate or medical education postgraduate certificate. So most 80% of our staff are already taking the course. And our teaching method can be a large group teaching, can be a small group teaching, can be a team-based, can be interpersonal education, clinical skill because it's involved medicine, and also simulation and interactive voting. So here is an example of our teaching method. So in a large group teaching, we are using a lectures. So lectures in UMath is not actually a compulsory where student can actually skip a lectures, and it's being recorded or being recapped in the system where student can log in into the university system and go to the lectures that they miss. But due to professionalism, we actually advise our student to actually come for the lectures. And for small group teaching, we do it in terms of like a clinical small class in a seminar type. This is a compulsory classes where student attendance is important. This class is not being recorded, so meaning that whatever they teach on that day, if you miss the class, meaning you miss everything. And you might borrow the notes from your friend, but the thing is when you borrow a note might be different from when you're actually attending the class. We also have a team-based learning where the classes is also conducted in a small group where you're being assist by a small staff faculties, number of staff faculties, for example, 6 to 8 staff faculties attending this team-based learning. Team-based learning can be a very communication exercise or clinical reasoning exercise. So this is where the team-based learning take place. And at the same time, we also have an interpersonal education because we are stated at education in EduCity, which is we have student from Southampton, student from Reading University. Sometimes we do have like interpersonal education where we actually sharing the education between each student from this university, and we do it on a monthly basis or maybe twice a month for every year. But during this COVID, all the teaching are being conducted online virtually. Okay, and as a medical student, you'll be teaching a clinical skill. For year one and year two, your clinical skill will be take place at our own laboratory in the campus. And for year three, four, and five, your clinical skill will be further enhanced at the local hospital, government, or community service. And we also use a simulation and interactive voting during the clinical skill. And we also have a full human body. We do not have a cadaver in our university. We're using a full human body. From the picture here, you can see that this mannequin here is a full human body. He can actually sweat, he can actually cry, he can actually say that he's sick. Whenever you touch, he can say that I'm sick at this part, and that because this mannequin is being controlled by another staff in another room, so student will be trying to save him, and most probably during these practice activities, he ended a flat line, meaning he died. But it is okay because you are doing it during the practice. All right. Okay, so this is the overview of our program. So year one and year two, basically you'll be teach the essential of medical practice. So meaning that they will cover the whole full human body during these first 2 years. And when year three, four, and five, you basically an hospital base. You are hardly in a campus, but there is some time that you have to come back to the campus for debriefing or for discussion for whatever you have teach being taught in the hospital. So you have a group discussion back in the campus. It is normally happen in Friday, on Friday, because on Friday we are closed. I mean, government in Johor is closed Friday and Saturday, while Newmat Malaysia, we are closed on Saturday, Sunday. So Friday is still a working day for us. So meaning that student only go to the hospital between Monday until Thursday. And if you are stationed in a district hospital, for example, in Batu Pahat or in Kluang, where it is actually 2 hours away from the campus, you have to stay over there for the whole 4 days. So we provide an accommodation, we provide a transportation to transport you to Batu Pahat from the campus and come back to the campus, okay, at the end of the week. And then you come back to campus on Friday to have your debriefing or to have your discussion on what you have learned for the whole 1 week. Okay, so this is the overview of our MBBS program. And year one and year two, as I mentioned earlier, you will be have an early patient contact. So year one, normally you have a patient study, a family study, which is involve a pregnant mom. So every one of you will get a partner of 2 or 3 students per partner. So meaning that you're getting one pregnant mom, and you'll be following their the pregnancy. So if you're lucky, you maybe get the first trimester, if you're, and then you might get a second trimester, or you might get to the last trimester where you follow the delivery of the pregnant mom. And you'll be doing this in pair, but unfortunately for the paperwork, you have to submit it individually. It's not in pair anymore, so it's all individual work. Same goes with year two, where it's now involved with patient study with a clinical illness, so meaning that patient with a heart diseases or patient with diabetes, patient with obesities, so a numbers of patients with a clinical illness. So all this patient is all a voluntary patient where we actually collected their information during our summer break before we start our year one or year two, because normally our starting point is in September every year. Okay, and year one and year two, I mentioned earlier, will be basically cover the whole body. So we'll be teach you a first aid. We will teach you how to examine the respiratory system. We teach you venous section. We teach you cardiovascular. So there will be a lot of examination, abdomen, eye, ear, neurology, knees, and shoulder. So everything include human full body will be covered during year one and year two. And year three, four, and five, this is mainly the Johor map, and we are here at near to the Singapore. So our campus is somewhere here, very near to Singapore. It's like 30 minutes away if you are talking about the second link. But if you are talking about the main link, which is downtown, it will be take like 1 hour. And currently, all borders are closed, so there's no people from Singapore or from Malaysia going out and in throughout this border. Okay, so year 3, 4, and 5, this red color is where the hospital are situated. So we are using 3 hospital in Johor Bahru near to our place. So HSI, Sultan Ismail, Sultan Aminah, and also Hospital Permai. Hospital Permai is a mental health hospital. And we also use a district hospital which in Pontian. It is about 30 minutes, 45 minutes away also from our campus. And the fathers is in Batu Pahat and also in Kluang. So those who are staying in Batu Pahat and Kluang, we provide accommodation, we provide transportation for you to go. And during year 3 and year 4, we also have a student selective component. So this is based on what student interests, what student want to study extra. So they do that. And we also have an elective study, which is taking place during year 4. So year 3, 4, and 5 is basically involve a clinical learning outside campus. So you are be stationed either government hospital or community clinic around Johor. So we only use Johor because we have a lot of district hospital or main hospital in Johor Bahru that we can use. We are not using any hospital in Kuala Lumpur or Melaka or Negeri Sembilan. Okay, apart from that we are only conducted our program in Malaysia, we also provide some UK student opportunity. For example, we introduced a year 2 semester 1 exchange program in 2018. So we have a Newcastle student MBBS from Newcastle, UK, and we also have MBBS student from Malaysia going over to UK to study for 1 semester that take place every September until December. And when it comes in January, they come back to their own campuses. So the ratio is like 1-to-1. So meaning that if we have 20 students from Newcastle, UK, we need to send 20 students from our campuses to Newcastle, UK. So that's about it. And if we have a lot of application who want to join this exchange program, so we will base on the ranking of your final exam during year 1. And another study opportunity is a UK summer project. This is take place during year 2 and during the summer project, summertime before you actually join year 3. So this project normally take place about 8 weeks, and it is actually from Newcastle, UK uh, incentive. They provide you a funding about competitive funding about RM 1,000 per week. So it's about equivalent to USD 241 per week. So for example, in the picture is a picture of 2018 summer project. We have here Grace in blue. He did a research with Newcastle University student dental services. So he did an experiment with a rat in terms of calcium sensing receptor. So it takes place for 8 weeks before you actually go for year 3 when it comes to early September. Another study opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, is a student selective component. It takes place for 4 weeks, and majority student, the popular place where they went is at the Middlesbrough area. So you can be studying a neurology or pediatric, cardiothoracic. So it all depends what is your interest in or what specialization you might thinking you want to do in the future. So before you actually go into the postgraduate, you will like to actually enhance your clinical studies by doing this student selective component. So it's only take place 4 weeks. So it can be at Newcastle, UK, or you can be at anywhere else as long as the placement is available for you. And another part, as I mentioned earlier, we have an elective study. This take place for 8 weeks. So meaning that you have a 2 months block of 4 weeks. So meaning that one month you can do it in Malaysia if you like to stay over, and the next 1 month you can do it outside Malaysia. So it can be in UK, it can be back or your own country. For example, if you want to do it, experience it in Sri Lanka hospital, you can do that as long as you are not going to the country that involved with war or involved with political issues that may disturb your study. So for elective study, normally you have to submit your proposal to the elective team, and elective team will look at your proposal and to see whether your country that you're going is safe, because our first priority is the safety of the well-being of our student. Okay. And from my past experience, I have students who spend one whole block in UK for 1 month and another whole block in US. So he managed to experience two world in 2 weeks, in 8 weeks. All right. So another opportunity is like you take a year off from the MBBS program. This can happen at two places, meaning that after year two before you continue to year three, or after year four before you continue your final year. So intercalation degrees is 1 year break for MBBS. It's not part of the MBBS program. It's just like you just take a break. You say that maybe I don't want to continue my year three consecutively. I would like to take a break. I want to do a final year of biomedical science, which normally took place at Newcastle, UK. So meaning that you are taking the final year of biomedical science, and you pay a tuition fees of home fees, same as UK student, not an international student. If you're going to Newcastle, UK, if you're going to other university in UK, you have to pay their international fees. So normally our student, they save a lot if they did it at Newcastle, UK. And some of them, I think about 5 students managed to do a biomedical science. They join this biomedical science final year, and they graduate with the biomedical science, and they get a degree in my biomedical science in 3 years, and then they come back to Malaysia to continue the year 3, 4, and 5 of their MBBS studies. And again, we also have students who really interested in research. So they did 1 year off from MBBS before they join the final year. So in this example, we have an international student. He actually from Mauritius. So Muzamil here, he joined a Master of Public Health in 2016-17, and he came back to Malaysia for the remaining of final year in 2018 to complete his MBBS program. So he has a master degree as on top of MBBS. Okay, and currently we have no information that all students who are taking off at two intercalated part. So far, they either choose the first part or the second part. And mostly the most popular one is during the year 4 before going into year 5. Okay. All right. So why you choose MBBS NUMED? So because we are an affordable degrees, and our degrees is awarded from Newcastle, UK. So the certificate that you're going to receive is from Newcastle, UK upon time. And we are in a world-class reputation, and currently our QS ranking is 160. We are also international recognized. And although our recognition in Sri Lanka is currently is in progress, is yet to be approved for the second recognition for re-accreditation, because we already applied for this position from last July, and they already received our paperwork. Is now pending for their approval. And Thailand as India is still continue. And also we also have full registration with the GMC UK and also Malaysia Medical Council, where our student upon graduation, you are eligible to apply for provisional registration to undertake your internship. This a housemanship. So in the UK, they call a UK foundation program. So in Malaysia, they call it either internship or housemanship training. It's normally take place for after MBBS program, after you graduate successfully, and normally it's a 2 years internship program. So you being paid a salary because you are part of the employment. And also there is still an opportunity to experience medical or medicine in the UK. So throughout all the programs, so exchange program or elective study or student selective component or even a UK summer project. All right. So I just want to roughly mention to you about our academic requirement. So if you come from A level, we are looking at AAB in biology, chemistry, or mathematics or physics. So biology and chemistry is a compulsory subject. The third subject is either maths or physics. Same goes with IB. If you are taking IB, we are looking at 35 points. So biology and chemistry must be at higher level. Mathematics and physics can be standard level. So if you come from American school, we are taking American AP, advanced placement. We are looking at 4 points in biology, chemistry, maths, and physics. And for international student, there is an added requirement, which is an IELTS. We are looking at a minimum score of 7. And if you are taking TOEFL, we are looking at a score of 100. And for other tests, you can email to us what the score required to go into MBBS. And for tuition fees, for international is about 110,000 per year. So it's equivalent to about 5,200,000 something for Sri Lanka rupee. And for our visas fees, about 6,000 ringgit internationals. And the fees are equivalent to about 200,000 Sri Lanka fees. And closing date for our application for September 2021 is every June, 30th June every year. Okay, so I stopped sharing, but before I stop here, I can share with you with another screen. I end up my with a video. Okay, thank you for having me here. And now I open the floor for question.
Yes. So if any student has, if anybody over here, if you want to ask any questions, y'all can, unmute your microphone and head over your questions to Miss Hani. So she will be able to answer any of your questions. So for any student who's looking at obtaining, a UK medical qualification, you have an opportunity to join with UK, to join with Newcastle University in Malaysia. Because after graduation, you will be awarded with an MBBS qualification directly from the UK Newcastle University. So the most advantage that you could get from here is that the cost of the program could be relatively way more affordable than directly doing your degree in the Newcastle University, UK. So I'm 100% sure that we do have students who inquired about getting into a university in the UK. And I think this is a humble opportunity for you all to, look at UK, Malaysia. So if you have any questions, you all can drop it down on the chat box, or you could, unmute your microphone and head over your questions. Yes, we have a question from Sanuvi Amarasinghe. Yes, Sanuvi, you can go ahead with your question. Yes, Mikhail, Fiona, we will also give you a chance. Please drop in your question, or you could, unmute your microphone and directly speak to Miss Hani as well. Sanuvi, do we have you here? All right, so Ms. Hani, the first question is, Sanuvi, we have a student named Sanuvi. She's doing her exams in May, June, and she wishes to know when exactly she would be able to apply for the university.
Okay, Sanuvi, thank you for your question. Actually, every one of you, if you're doing your exam in May or June, you can actually apply the application to us now. We already opened the application for September 2021 from October 2020. So the closing date is until 30th of June. So you don't have to wait until you get your result. You can actually apply to us
with a predicted result from your school. So we can actually conduct your interview and we give you a conditional offer, and and if you have any other exam, for example, you haven't sit for IELTS, you can still apply to us first, and then we put it that in the conditional offer. So you have to fulfill all the condition before you come into the program. And currently from this year onward, we're going to put a quota. We only accept 60 international students for our intake for MBBS program. So now the placement is more competitive. We only have 60 places. So please apply to us as soon as possible. Maybe you can apply within this week. Maybe you can apply tomorrow. Get the application
Yes.
from the IMC, or yeah, get it from us.
Yes. So, Sanvi, if you are looking at applying, as you have been a student with us, you can directly speak to us so that we could get you with the consultation of the university and you could start applying to Newcastle University, Malaysia without a problem. I hope we answered your question. And over to Mikhail, Fiona, you could drop in your question.
But I have a problem. The thing is,
Mikhail, if you could maybe sound a little bit, if you could speak a little bit louder.
Yeah, it's a bit soft.
Yes, if you could speak a little bit louder, Mikhail.
no, ma'am, it's my family.
Yes, go ahead, Mikhail.
Oh, all right. So maybe you can put your question in the chat box. Yes, we do have a foundation program. All right. And for foundation, entry requirement comes from your IGCSE or A levels. Our requirement is 4 A's and 1 B, and subject required is biology, chemistry, mathematics, physics, and one other subject. So one other subject can be any other subject as long as in the grade A or B. So if you already get A in biology, chemistry, mathematics, and physics, I can accept any other subject with B grades. Or even you got A grades is better. So you have 5 A's. And our foundation program, we only have 2 intakes. We also have 2 intakes, meaning the intakes is June and also intake in September.
Ms. Hani, we have another question. We have a question from Shafra Salam. Can a student with biomedical science degree with the Newcastle University UK apply for this medical program?
Yes, if you are a student from biomedical science degree, meaning you already completed the degree or going to complete this degree in this summer, and you have to obtain at least 2-1, meaning that second class upper position, not lower position. So 2-1, and you can apply to us. And unfortunately, we won't have integrated program where you only 4 years MBBS. That one is only applicable in UK. All in Malaysia, you have to join again MBBS for 5 years. So meaning you already studied 3 years and then add on another 5 years. And procedure will be the same. Application, you can put up the application with the IMC through IMC. And again, we have to look at your IELTS, and if your IELTS is already expired, unfortunately, you have to redo your IELTS because we accept IELTS within 2 years validity. And again, you also have to go for a medical interview, same like anybody else.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hani. So we have only one more question. After that, I think we will have to end off the question and answer session. I think the other question is if there are any scholarships being awarded by Newcastle University.
Currently, we do not offer a scholarship for our students, but we have a merits award that we give to our students who are obtaining merit every year after their final exam. So meaning that if you're getting a merit in year 1, there's a merit indication beside your name. So you'll be getting a 10% monetary value of a tuition fee. So the tuition fees is in Ringgit Malaysia 110,000. So you'll be getting 11,000 Ringgit Malaysia. So be using your money as a reward because of your study very hard, or you can use the money to pay back the tuition fees to us.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Hani. Firstly, thank you so much for being a part of today's session, and we are hoping to have many more sessions with Newcastle University. We highly appreciate your participation for today, and we will definitely keep in touch with you with the new applications for year 2021. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Ms.
Thank you
Hani.
for having me today. Bye-bye.
No problem. Bye. See you.
See you.
All right. So I'm assuming every student who was joining with us throughout got to know a lot of information about Newcastle University, Malaysia. So if you're looking into a UK awarded or rather an MBBS qualification directly from the UK, then your opportunity relies with the Newcastle University in Malaysia. But anyways, we are moving on with the second university for today. And this is going to be an extremely interesting session because we have two important gentlemen joining with us from the next university. We have the Quest International University from Malaysia. Now, talking about Quest International University, QIU has become one of the most demanding university in Malaysia, if I could, simply break it down. Because we clearly know that education in Malaysia could be comparatively expensive than any other programs. But what's different with reference to QIU is that they provide you with the most affordable MBBS program in Malaysia. So if you are looking at an Asian qualification, which allows you a guaranteed 100% pass rate from the Sri Lanka Medical Council's Act 16 examination, well, then you have Quest International University as your destination. So with us here today, we have Professor Dr. Celia S. Pillay. He is the Dean and Consultant Radiologist, Faculty of Medicine of QIU University, joining with us, as well as Professor Dr. Ranjit Mehendarkar. He is the Deputy Dean and Professor and Head of Department of Microbiology at the Faculty of Medicine at QIU. Professor, could we please have you online? I'm assuming both the professors are online here with us. Could we please have you? Yes, doctor, can you hear us? Yeah, I think we are unable to hear you. Doctor, will you be able to unmute your microphone? Yes, I think we are good to go.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Professor, for joining with us. We have 79 students. Yeah.
It must have been a
Over to
tiring
you.
day. It must have been a tiring day for everyone. Let me start with good morning, because Sri Lanka, it is still before noon. In Malaysia, back in Malaysia, it is already almost 3 o'clock, 2:50. So we are in the afternoon. Good morning again. And I will just start off with Quest International University, why Quest is a better university to do medicine for Sri Lankan students. Okay, along with me, I have the Deputy Dean, Dr. Ranjit. He will also assist me. Just go overview of the university very fast. And it's a private comprehensive research-led university, and the state government of Perak has got equity participation along with our university. And this is our campus. And you can see the last 3 huge buildings. And our senior management, we have got Prof. Zita. Prof. Zita is a vice chancellor. She was, her last posting was with the Ministry of Higher Education in the Malaysian qualifying agency, the very agency that monitors all universities all colleges, private and government, for the whole of Malaysia. So she's a pioneer in that facility, and she has retired and has joined us as a Vice Chancellor. So can you see the power pack lady with our university? Then we have Mr. Nicholas Goh, our Chief Operating Officer, who overruns the whole university in the most efficient manner. I should not say that much about it. And we have Mr. Mohammed, who is also from the Ministry of Higher Education and have joined us. And he is, along with Prof. Zita and Mr. Mohammed, from the Ministry of Higher Education. We are really very fortunate that the very people who control the universities in the country are now our staff. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We'll see that the university consists of a few other faculties. We have got 5 other faculties: Faculty of Business and Management, Faculty of Social Sciences, Faculty of Pharmacy, Faculty of Science and Technology, and then comes the Faculty of Medicine. There's also a Center for Research and Innovation, where we can do a PhD, Masters, and other post-graduation program. Now, in the Faculty of Medicine, we have both MBBS and Biomedical Sciences. And the students come from all parts of Malaysia, and that's West Malaysia and East Malaysia, and also come from about 40 over countries in the world. And for the medical school, we have about 6 countries, that is India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and also United Arab Emirates, you know. So we have got students from all over the country. Okay, this is the Faculty of Medicine. It's a huge building with a lot of infrastructure inside. And the infrastructures you can match with any other university. The deanery consists of me. I'm Dr. Salaya, and I along with me my Deputy Dean, Dr. Ranjit. And we have a Director of Administration, Dr. Kamala. So, and we 3 will be always there. And this is our faculty picture, our staff picture. Unfortunately, this picture was taken in 2019 when I was not the dean yet. And when I took over the deanship in February 2020, in March, we had the COVID pandemic. And since then, we are not allowed to take a group photograph. So a group photograph will be taken along with me, probably in a later part of it. And so this is almost most of the staff, 99% of the staff are still there. Okay. And Faculty of Medicine, if you look at this, we are so well recognized. We have got our full accreditation from the Malaysian Qualifying Agency, which is a requirement. And the world, our university's Faculty of Medicine is the World Directory of Medical School. For a medical school, which is just about 10 years old, and to be in the World Directory is a great achievement. Not many other schools can have this achievement. We are also a membership of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland, and we are also a license center for sitting for the US Simile Training Center, and we have signed an agreement with Kaplan, the agency that interacts with the US Simile exam. And a number of medical council have recognized our university. And to start with, the Medical Council of India, the Sri Lankan Medical Council, the Maldives Medical and Dental Council, and the Bangladesh Medical and Dental Council, the Higher Education Commission of Pakistan, and the Medical Council of Indonesia. So you can see about 6 countries have recognized our university, and many more to come, I suppose. Okay. The MBBS curriculum is not borrowed from any other faculty or any other university. It is prepared by the Faculty of Medicine, Quest International Universities, of some pioneer group who are former deans of other universities. And it is approved by the Malaysian Qualifying Agency, the Malaysian Medical Council. It is a bit more modern than some other medical school, being a newer medical school, hybrid, integrated. It is more outcome-based, and problem-based curriculum. And it consists of 2 phases. Phase 1, the preclinical, year 1 and 2, which will be conducted in the city of Ipoh, about which we'll talk later, in Ipoh. And phase 2 is clinical, that is year 3, 4, and 5, where you'll move to a few other places. You'll be having some other programs in a city called Taiping, then another town called Teluk Intan. Then you can have it in Ipoh itself. Then in another place which is nearby to Ipoh, a place called Tanjung Rambutan. And I'll come to that a little later. And this is the 5-year planner. You can see the preclinical year 1, year 2, and the clinical program year 3, year 4, year 5. We cover all the subjects like any other medical school. But when it comes to clinical posting, we are a little peculiar. I will tell you why, what is so peculiar of the medical school in our medical school. You see, even in the preclinical, we do cadaveric dissection for gross anatomy. There are hardly another 1 or 2 university in Malaysia which does cadaveric dissection, because nowadays it is very hard to get cadavers. Nobody gives their body to a medical school, but we are very fortunate because we are in a little smaller town that we are able to get cadaver for our dissection. We also do 3D anatomy dissection like other medical schools. So it is both. You have the traditional cadaver plus the modern 3D. And then we can see our postings, We are one of the very few medical schools which has got geriatric posting, palliative care posting. These are new things in the hospitals, and these are the future. So in the future, patients have malignancy which cannot operable. We keep them in the palliative care ward. And we are one of the very few medical schools which has got a palliative care posting. And we also got geriatric posting because today's life, a lot of them can live up to 80, 90 years old. And radiology posting. A lot of medical schools in Malaysia don't have a radiology posting. When you're in the surgical or medical posting, you just go to the X-ray department and hang around there without any supervision. And some of them choose not to go there also. Whereas in Quest International University, it is a mandatory 2 weeks radiology posting. I being a radiologist and I being in the government service for almost 35 years, and most of the radiologists in the government hospital today they are my students, and I've got a free hand. I take you there and I show you, demonstrate how the MRI, CT scan, ultrasound procedures are carried out. And we have a very healthy radiology posting. And so is the other medical surgical postings. Okay. So the most important thing here is learning rather than teaching. Because learning is didactic learning. Some of them, the lecturer just come and rattle out his lecture like how is it in school. They just go and teach something and they go back. Whereas over here, we take in a smaller group compared to the other medical schools. Other medical schools take 150, 200, 300 students. The campus will be full of students. Ours is a smaller group. We only take 75 students per year. And that 75 also we take in 2 groups. That means we have about 40 students and 30 students per batch. And when there's a smaller batch, the individual knowing each other and the lecturer-student relationship, everything becomes closer and we are able to manage. Even with the weaker student, someone who is a bit slow, we can guide them. We have a personal touch with them. And we have this mentor-mentee system, where the lecturers monitor your performance and interact with your parents. So this is most parents like this way. And this is something really a special feature of our university. Okay, so the curriculum, it is an integrated, as I said, hybrid problem-based curriculum and student-centered, where you are encouraged to ask questions. And we always do this thing. if you don't ask questions, we'll ask you the question. Therefore, everybody, no one is left behind. And the major examinations are, you have the year 1 examination, which is a professional examination. Then we have the year 2, which is also another professional examination. And then you have an end of posting examination in the clinical phase, that is year 3, year 4, and year 5. And following the end of posting in year 5, you will have the final clinical professional examination. So the final clinical professional exam is the pinnacle, and with that you are graduated as a medical doctor. Okay. So to keep you not always study, we have got the student affairs department who takes care of about 20 student clubs, and you will have a lot of interesting programs. Our student affairs department and affairs division is very, very active, and it was only yesterday they had the ceremony for after having an election for all the clubs, and it was really very nice. And the student affairs department also conducts celebration and festivals. We have international days. There'll be a day known as Sri Lanka Day. There's a day known as Maldives Day. There's a day known as, there are so many other international students from different parts of the world, from Africa, from China, from Singapore, from Brunei, from India, from Pakistan. So when the number of students are small, 2-3 countries join together and have an international day. So it's a way of celebrating, so you are always kept happy. And our teaching facilities, like any other medical schools, everybody say this, we got large lecture hall, we got discussion room, seminar room. But what is unique is we have an anatomy dissection hall, which most medical schools in Malaysia do not have, And then we have got a state-of-art clinical skills lab. We have state-of-art morgue ward, computer laboratories. Library nowadays is not a very important thing, because everything comes online. And we have got some of the best online journal suppliers for journals and medical books. Okay, so just to show you some of the pictures. This is how the anatomy session takes place, And if you look at the second picture, you will see that the anatomy is taught both in 3D as well as computer assisted and cadaveric dissection. So this is an anatomy museum, The anatomy museum is very nice. We have even placed some radiographs next to the images of the brain, so that you will know correlate the real brain pictures and how is it look on a radiograph. Okay. And we have this multidisciplinary laboratories, and these are all state of art. And computer laboratories. This is another unique feature. While you are in year 1 and year 2, we give you a clinical exposure. That means what happens is year 1, year 2 students, even though you are preclinical, we make a few trips to the hospital and show you what is it to be working in a hospital. So we'll take you by bus to that place, to the town, even the Ipoh hospital for pathology laboratories, and to Taiping hospital, to the medical and surgical wards, where you will see for yourself what is working in the hospital. And these are some of the community activities that take place by the various clubs in the university, and the medical students take active part in it. Our teaching hospital, this is a very unique thing, I must say. We spend our teaching sessions in hospitals, which are not the big hospitals, like where it is a 10-story hospital, huge hospitals, 800 bedded, 900 bedded, and this thing. No, we take to a hospital which are 600 bedded and 500 bedded hospital, like Hospital Taiping, Hospital Tolointan. These are the two main hospitals where it is a specialist hospital, and it is, most of them are general ward. We don't have the specialized ward. And why I said we must go to the specialist hospital which are moderate size, because the case mix, the variety of cases in the surgical discipline, they all be in one ward. The variety of case in medical problems, they all be in one ward. The variety of cases in obstetrics, they all be in one ward. This is very good for undergraduate training. If you want to do postgraduate training, you must go to the huge hospital where there's a cardiology ward, where all the heart cases will be there, where there'll be a nephrology ward, all the kidney problems are there, where there is a neurology ward, all the brain problems are there, where there is neurosurgery, the brain tumors are there. And such places only postgraduate students can go, and medical students cannot enter the ward. So if you're in a very huge hospital, like in a medical school in Kuala Lumpur or Johor Bahru or Penang, the hospital will have such facilities for postgraduate students, and therefore certain cases which are fundamental, for example, heart attack is a fundamental problem. It may not be in the medical ward, it will be in the cardiology ward, and you can't go there. At the most you can see is the patient in the casualty, but not in the ward. So you really miss a lot. And even for housemanship training, after you become a medical, finishing your medical studies, when you're going for housemanship, I always advise, don't go to the huge hospital where your training will be lost among the many postgraduate students. You must go to a moderate sized specialist hospital where you get the best training. And therefore, we intentionally have chosen Hospital Taiping, Hospital Tolointan as our training hospital. And this is Hospital Taiping, no? And it is 75 kilometers from Ipoh. It is a straight highway, expressway. You don't stop anywhere. It is point to point. There's a toll, and you can reach point to point in half an hour. And from the city center to the toll, plus and minus, it's another half an hour. Within 1 hour, or within 50 minutes or 55 minutes, you are from the campus in Ipoh, you are already in Taiping. And for those students who are doing the posting in Taiping, we got a hostel in Taiping. You can stay in the hostel and you can walk to the hospital, which is a nearby distance. And this is Hospital Tolointan, surrounded by some palm oil plantation. You can see there. It's a little smaller town, and it's also another specialist hospital. I'm a little proud of this town because I come from this town, born brought up in this town. Anyway, Tolointan is another very nice training center. It is very spacious. It is built by the Australian group. So it's like a modern hospital, very spacious, and it's a lot of greeneries, a lot of trees around there. A good training center. Hospital Sri Manjung, currently this year we plan not to use it because we have got more facilities. I mean, the hospital directors have allowed now more students in Taiping and Tolointan. Therefore, temporarily we have stopped this hospital. And then the next hospital is the largest, one of the largest hospital in the country, and that is Hospital Ipoh. Lots of postgraduate students, a lot of students from other medical schools, everybody fighting for patients, and patient also gets scared when they see the medical student. They take a towel and the blanket and cover their face. And this is what happens in big cities. If you go to hospitals like Johor Bahru, Malacca, Seremban, Kuala Lumpur, Penang, I'm talking about the bigger cities. You will have huge hospitals and people are very arrogant. Patients are sometimes very arrogant, unfriendly. Like urban people, the more urban city dwellers, the more arrogant and uncooperative. Whereas if you go to Hospital Taiping, Sri Manjung, Teluk Intan, smaller hospital, patients are very cooperative. Patient compliance That is the understanding between medical students and patients is the most important aspect of clinical learning. There's nothing better than the patient. And the patient is extremely, very, very, very cooperative with the medical students. And this is Hospital Bahagia, which is like a holiday resort area. And this is actually one of the largest mental institutions in the world. You know, of course, there are two other mental institutions bigger than this. It is a tertiary center, and you're very fortunate to have your forensic medicine training in this hospital. And again, many medical schools don't have access to this mental institution, and psychiatry is a very important aspect for medicine. Today, psychiatry posting is mandatory in medical schools no, it's mandatory everywhere, in most of the medical schools, but forensic posting is forensic psychiatry is very, very important in modern medicine, and we are very fortunate to have the largest forensic psychiatry center in Ipoh, outskirts of Ipoh, and that is called Hospital Bahagia Ulukinta, and you have your psychiatry posting there. And for your rural postings, outpatient postings, we go to some clinic, small government clinics, and these are located in Taiping and Ipoh. They are known as KK Simpang, Buntung, and all these things. And to assist you all the way, we got student affairs department, support services, financial aid but this financial is more for Malaysian students. And there's a lot of student activities. We have got an international student office, and our international student officers, they speak good English, and they assist you, they help you all the way, especially during this COVID pandemic. A lot of students got stranded in India, stranded in UAE, Sri Lanka, Maldives, and our student affairs department is currently helping each and every one of them to come back to Malaysia. As for clinical research, even at undergraduate level, our medical students are encouraged to do clinical research because these are very, very important for the future doctors, and we teach you at undergraduate level itself, and these are the students presenting their research presentations, and some of these research presentations have gone into the journals. To be surprised, and I'm sometimes surprised our students can perform so well in presentations. Okay. So we also have our staff have got done a lot of achievement. As I said, for a new university which is about 10 years old, we are really shining high, and it is envious to many other medical schools. We have received a lot of research grants, and including from Harvard also. It's a joint collaboration between Harvard and the Indian University. Our staff have been doing research for them. Okay, these are some of the activities of the first batch of students who graduated, about 4 years ago. Their graduation day, and this is one of the international night by the Maldives student. There are only 2 or 3 medical students. The rest are actually from the other faculty. And UAE, there's a big group, no? And this is another celebration, international night, international food, the country that hosts it, they come. The High Commissioners or people from the High Commission do come and visit them also. Okay, these are some of our students who have been awarded at national level for their research work. Okay, now we are coming to the final slide. Why choose Quest International University? As I said, It is where the curriculum is very innovative, and we make the dynamic changes as with time, because medicine, it is a dynamic process. What you learn today, sometimes it's outdated tomorrow. Therefore, we keep changing our curriculum to, to keep up with the pace of the development in medicine. Okay, coming back to my last slide. Again, why choose Quest International University, or why choose IPO? You see, Quest International University, our fees are affordable. It is value for money. And small batches. Lecturer knows student better. And smaller specialist hospital for teaching, because it is better case mix. When I say case mix, that means the variety of cases that is required for undergraduate level. Because some of the complicated cases are not meant for undergraduate, that is meant for postgraduate teaching. What is required for undergraduate are basic medical cases. And these basic medical cases are you are seen in the moderate size specialist hospital. And therefore we take you to such hospitals. And in that smaller town, the patients are more friendly with the medical students. If you go to a big place, some of the big places where there are medical schools are Kuala Lumpur. There are a number of medical schools there in Kuala Lumpur. And then we have in Johor Bahru, Penang, Malacca, Seremban, and all these towns I'm mentioning. Right now, for the last many months, the students cannot go to the hospital. Cannot go to the hospital. The hospital director says no to the medical students. And they all are studying online scenario-based clinical medicine. Whereas our students who are studying in Taiping, Tolo Intan, Sri Manjung, no, Hospital Bahagia, Ipoh Hospital, and the clinicals posting, the government clinics, all are ongoing now. We have not stopped. It's all ongoing. We just stopped for a few months. Right now, it's all ongoing, except for Taiping. They just stopped it for about 2 weeks because of some outbreak among the staff in Taiping, and they promised me in another 1 week they're going to allow the medical students. And in Teluk Intan, inside the medical ward, there was a medical student from another university. He became positive, and therefore, because of the investigation, they shut off for a few days, and they also will be starting off very soon. Otherwise, all our medical students are doing clinical posting. Only the preclinical students are doing it online, and therefore, the students are not losing out in their terms, and they are learning the traditional medicine. And it is not only for my medical school, there are another 2 other medical schools. The rest of the medical schools are all shut down. You see how lucky medical students in Quest International University during this period, they are still continuing their studies. But whatever lectures, we do it online. Whatever that can be done online, we do it online. And clinical teaching, it is better in the hospital, and we are continuing. And Ipoh is a large city. It is one of the 4th largest city or 3rd largest city. I can say it is after Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru. Ipoh is the 3rd largest city. It is not a busy city, no traffic jam, very conducive for learning, no distraction. And Quest International City, why? Affordable, value for money. Okay? And then Ipoh, it is a paradise for food. You get good Chinese food, Indian food, Malay food, and food. You can get halal food for the Muslims. And the other thing very important in Ipoh is you can enjoy all the facilities of a city at a lower cost. So the standard of living is high, but the cost of living is low. So that is what I say, value for money. Thank you very much. Now, I will answer some of the things which I need to say. I'll answer them by questions. And I have Dr. Ranjit, who is our Deputy Dean He'll be able to answer you also. Yes, Miss Michael Fiona.
Good morning, sir.
I can't hear you, lah. Can you make it louder a bit?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so good morning. This is Michelle. I just finished my advanced level, sir. So I just saw the text messages, and the academy told that your questions could be answered at the end of the program. So I'm not sure whether I could ask this to you or not. I'm just asked about the financial requirements, or is there any other methods, any alternative methods to enter into the faculty? Because I lost it from the government method, so that's why I just asked. So, sir, the academy said that the questions would be answered at the end. So I'm not sure whether I could ask the question from you or from the academy. So I'm just confused.
You can ask the question. I have Mr. Prem, who can answer this question, especially talking about finance, isn't it?
Yes. It's just, I just want to ask about the sponsorship, or is there any alternative methods to get into the faculty? Because that was my hardcore wishes to be a doctor, but unfortunately I lost it.
Okay, Prem.
Hi, Michelle. Michelle, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Okay, Michelle, talking about your financial
Prem, we cannot hear you, lah.
Right now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, now.
So, yeah. So, Michelle.
Michelle, can you hear? She must be able to hear you, man.
Hi, Michelle.
Michelle, can you hear Mr. Prem?
Yeah, I could hear.
Okay, so I'm going to mute your microphone so you can listen to Mr. Prem's answer for your question, all right? And if you have anything, you can once again unmute your microphone.
Okay. Hi,
Yes,
Michelle. Okay, Michelle. To answer your question, all right. So currently we are going to have an intake in February. All right. So so the tuition fee, which is for the whole 5 years program, it's 300,000 Malaysian ringgit. 300,000 Malaysian ringgit. As you can see in the chat group here, per year it's 60,000 Malaysian ringgit per year. And as of for MBBS program, there is 2 terms in a year, which means per term is 6 months. All right. So you have 2 terms, which is in 12 months you pay 60,000 Malaysian ringgit. All right. So now talking about your financial assistance and everything, the good news here is QIU is offering you a waiver of RM 10,000 Malaysian ringgit for this coming February intake. All right, this coming February intake, we are giving you a waiver of 10,000 Malaysian ringgit. Number 1. Number 2, all right. So number 2 is you can always pay your fees. You can always pay your fees from the 2nd year onwards by semester basis. Only for the 1st year you will pay one full lump sum of 50,000. But if you have any issues in terms of payment, you can always directly talk to IMC. All right, you have you have IMC people there. You can talk to them, email them, and they will get back to us, and we will assist you accordingly.
Thank you, but I still had a doubt.
Michelle, I can't hear you, Michelle.
Sorry.
Michelle, we can't really hear you. If you could speak a little bit louder to your microphone, then I think we will be able to hear you more clearly. No, we can't hear you. You can drop the message on the chat box, please. Thank you, Mr. Prem, for answering that question. And for any other student who wishes to, throw in your questions to our humble representatives, they are available here. So we have Professor Sally and Professor Ranjit and also Mr. Prem, all affiliated to the Faculty of Medicine, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, and also the Deputy Dean. We have both of them present here today. So you all can ask your questions directly from them and also with Mr. Prem. Mr. Prem, there's another question brought in by a student called Sanuvi Amarasingha. Her question is, if we are doing the exams in May, June, isn't there any intake afterwards?
Okay, to answer Sanui's question, we will be having an intake in September again.
Any other questions? Because we only have another 2 minutes to answer the questions from our students. A kind reminder to everybody. Yeah, we have another question, Mr. Prem, from Senat Pereira. The question is whether they could start working in Malaysia right after graduation. I think this is a question you could elaborate more onto this question, Mr. Prem. If they could work in Malaysia right after graduation.
Probably I'll pass this to Dato or Dr. Ranjit to like brief a little bit more further on this.
Mr. Sally, Professor, we can't hear you. I think you're on mute. If you could unmute your microphone, that would be great.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Well, unfortunately, answer is no. The Malaysian government doesn't allow international students for housemanship posting. No foreign students for housemanship. Housemanship posting and subsequent employment is only for Malaysians. But when you become a specialist, then you may join the private medical school, private hospitals, or medical colleges on a case-to-case basis. As for house officers and medical officers, the government of Malaysia does not allow. I'm very sorry. And since it is recognized by the Sri Lankan Medical Council, you can do your housemanship in Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Professor. We have another question from Sanuvi. Do you provide any fee reduction for students who get good results during the course? I think she's referring to academic scholarships, not based on admissions, but if QIU offers scholarships based on the performance of the students during the academia.
Okay, in terms of fee reduction, there will be no any fee reduction. The reason why we don't have any fee reduction here, as I mentioned, our tuition fee here is very affordable, which is 300,000 ringgit, Malaysian ringgit for the whole 5 years, where it is the same fee for local Malaysian and also for international students. So currently, since it's pandemic and COVID-19, the university has decided to give a one-time waiver off for all students, all right, which is around 10,000 ringgit for now. So if assuming, I'm just telling this, probably if let's say we are not allowed to fly, I mean students are not allowed to come back to Malaysia to study and everything, then we will go by semester basis of a waiver. So that I will keep IMC informed accordingly so that they will pass the message around to you guys.
It's not only the fees are lower, more affordable compared to other medical schools. Your cost of living, no, in Ipoh or in Taiping or Tolointan, where you do your clinical posting, is very, very, very low compared to Kuala Lumpur, which is expensive, Johor Bahru, which is expensive, Penang, which is expensive, Malacca, and Seremban, in that order. And I must tell you, among the Malaysian cities, Ipoh is one of the largest cities, well-planned cities, no traffic jam, a very conducive place for studying. And you got trains going within 2 hours to Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur and Ipoh is just a 200 kilometers. By car, you can reach within two hours. And by train, you can reach within 2.5 hours. And we got direct buses to the international airport, which takes just less than 3 hours. Because that's all highway. Ipoh is situated on the highway, and point to point, it's very easy to move all over the country.
Datuk, there's a question from Himasha. Can we migrate to Australia or Canada after completing the MBBS program without coming to Sri Lanka?
You can migrate to USA if you sit for the US simile. As to go to Australia, you have to sit for their exams, you know. But since Malaysians can go, I think even Sri Lankans can go. But you have to sit for their entrance examination in Australia. See, Australia don't look at recognition. They look at you have to sit for their exams. You know. There are many countries nowadays, even within USA, from one state to another state, the medical schools are not recognized. You go to, say, suppose you are in New York State, you want to go to California, you have to sit for exam by the Californian Medical Board. So similarly for Australia and New Zealand.
Thank you very much, Professor. So this goes out to all the students. I know we have a lot of questions coming in from everybody, but with the time restriction, I think we will have to cut it short. But do remember that we will be answering your questions at the end of the session. But to add a brief note as to why you need to select QIU, or rather Quest International, is mostly because it is the only MBBS qualification that you could obtain in Malaysia for the most affordable price. Because education in Malaysia can be extremely expensive, and you know, to be able to obtain an Asian qualification, an MBBS from Malaysia for an affordable pricing as such could be a lifetime opportunity for you all, because as per the Sri Lanka Medical Council Act 16 pass rates, we've seen graduates from Malaysian universities performing in its 100%. So if you are a student or a parent who's looking into an affordability structure and also at a well-educative and a proper academia, then of course your chance could be QIU. So I would like to extend my sincere gratitude and thanks to Professor Ranjit, Professor Salia, and Mr. Prem for being kind enough to join in for our session today. Unfortunately, our time's up, but we will be planning to have another session throughout weeks as we have students walking in to get further details. And we will also invite our students to speak to you individually in case if they have any more questions. So thank you very much for being here with us today, and we'll keep in touch with Quest International University along with IMC Education. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Ranjit. Thanks. All right, to all the students who's putting out the questions on the chat box, please keep them coming because we will be answering them to you shortly after we have finished with the third university. We have here with us the International Medical University in Malaysia. So for anybody who's looking at Malaysia as a destination, the three most high-tier universities could be the Newcastle University, IMU University, and Quest International University. So today here with us, we have the marketing executive of IMU, Mr. Wong Ji-hung. Thank you very much, Jihan, for joining with us today. It's so nice to see you after a long time. So we have a couple of students who's willing to hear from you. As IMU is the first private university in Malaysia, I'm 100% sure that students are waiting impatiently to hear from you. So over to you.
Okay, thanks. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jehan. I'm representing the International Medical University. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you, IMC, for organizing this session, for us to share information, especially on the program of medicine. Here we call it the MBBS with you all. All right. So yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop down your questions in the chat box, and then I will try my very best to answer your questions at the end of my sharing. Okay, first of all, let me just share my slides with you. Okay. All right. Okay, so So IMU stands for International Medical University. All right, we are a university based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Yeah. So I mean, looking back at the university, we have a history of 28 years. Okay, we were established in 1992, and we gained our university status in 1999. All right, that's how we became Malaysia's first private medical university. Okay, and of course, we also have our sister campus, which is the IMC, which is also called IMC by coincidence. That is the college division, okay, in which they offer the nursing program. Right, for medicine program, it will be conducted in the university campus. All right, so IMU, we are Malaysia first and also the most established private medical university, as I mentioned just now. If you look back at our program, which we offer, I would say we are a 100% niche university, because in our university, we only focus in the area of medical and health sciences. That's why we call ourselves the most established health sciences and private medical university. So if you are looking at business program or engineering program, architecture, law, we don't offer that. Okay, we only focus in the area of medical and health sciences, healthcare related. All right, so that is one of the reason you should choose IMU. Okay, because IMU, we specialize in this area. All right. Over here, you can see the different faculty which is in the campus. Okay, we have the Center for Pre-University. We run the foundation program, but mainly this is meant for those only completed O levels. Okay, I know that majority of you will be completing the A levels. Okay, therefore there's no need of you doing the foundation. Okay, and then we also have the School of Medicine. Of course, they are the faculty which run the medicine program as well as the psychology program. We also have the School of Dentistry, School of Pharmacy. Under the School of Health Sciences, we have a range of health sciences program like biomedical science, medical biotech, dietetics, nutrition. And then for Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine, we have the Chinese Medicine and Chiropractic program. And then we also have the postgraduate programs. Okay, so okay, you see, IMU, one thing we are very special because we are known for our strong partnership with our partner university all the way from Canada, okay, UK, Ireland, China, Australia, and New Zealand, okay. And who are those universities? You can see here, all right. From Australia, we have the University of Adelaide. In terms of ranking in Australia, #1. That is the ANU. They are our partner as well. Curtin University, University of New South Wales, Newcastle, MIT, University of Sydney, Tasmania, Western Sydney. UK, we have a lot of them, all right. Among them, they are very prestigious university in the world, medical university in the world, and among them also from the Russell Group, all right. And New Zealand, we have University of Otago. Ireland, we have the National University of Ireland in Galway. All right, Canada, we have Dalhousie University. For China, we have a few of them, but we are partnering with them for our Chinese medicine program. Okay, if you search around, probably you may not be able to find anywhere any university which offers such a partnership, all right, with this university for the credit transfer options, except in IMU. Right, you may find a university offering credit transfer options to other university, but in terms of medical, probably you may not be able to find anywhere except in IMU. All right, so therefore I would say our program is very special because we have to benchmark our program according to their standard. All right, being recognized by one of these universities is considered very good, but to be recognized by so many of these universities, it says something about us, all right? Our program has to be very good because we have to meet their standard, right? Because we are going to prepare our students to transfer the students to this university. Okay. Let me go straight to the medicine program. Okay, I believe most of you are looking at the MBBS medicine program. Okay, we in IMU we offer two pathways. Okay, in our medicine program, we have the options where the student can do all 5 years in Malaysia. Right, if you are not looking at the overseas options, you can choose to do all 5 years in Malaysia. Okay, and if you are interested to transfer to any of these countries, like what I mentioned just now, Australia, Canada, Ireland, UK, and New Zealand, we offer this pathway, this option, where the student only study 2.5 years in IMU, and then in the third year, they will transfer to our partner university to do the clinical training. That means when you graduate from this partner university, at the end of the second year or third year, depending which university, your certificate will be conferred by this university. All right, that means you are going to be graduated by this university where your cert comes from this prestigious university. Okay, and intake will be in February and August yearly. All right. And application deadline will be, normally we will advise international students to apply 2 to 3 months, latest 2 to 3 months before the intake commencement. Why? Because in the medicine program, seats are limited. Okay, seats are limited. You may meet the requirement and pass the interview selection, but that doesn't guarantee you a seat if you apply late because there are no more seats. So therefore, we encourage students to apply earlier. Okay, so in terms of the, I would like to share with you about the fees. Okay, what if you choose to do all 5 years in Malaysia? How much are you going to budget or going to spend in the 5 years program? All right, for the IMU MBBS program, which is the 5 years program in IMU, the fees is 543,500 ringgit. Okay, this is the total for 5 years. Right, if you convert to US dollar, that is about 130,000 US dollar. Of course, if you look at this amount, this is quite a huge amount. Okay, therefore we allow the student to pay on semester basis. Okay, we allow the student to pay on semester basis. Throughout the 5 years, there are 10 semesters. Okay, so you divide by 10, so you are looking at 54,350 ringgit for every semester. One semester is roughly about 5 to 6 months, say it for 6 months, half a year. All right. But if you choose to do the credit transfer option, okay, in the credit transfer options, you only spend 2.5 years of your time in Malaysia in IMU. All right, whereas the remaining years, you are going to do it in the partner university, be it in Australia or UK or Ireland or Canada or New Zealand. Okay, for the first part in Malaysia, you will spend roughly almost 300,000 ringgit. To be exact, that is 293,750, or about 68,000. Of course, this you can pay on semester basis as what I shared. All right, if you transfer to the, after that, if you transfer to the partner university, say in Australia, you are going to pay to the partner university in Australia in Australian dollar. Okay, that estimated is about 76,000 dollar per year. Okay, if you transfer to Canada, you are going to spend roughly about almost 80,000 Canadian dollar. All right. For Canada, you only spend 2 years there before you graduate. So that is the shortest duration if you're looking for a medicine, shortest medicine program with our partner university. Canada is only 2 years over there. Therefore, you only spend 4.5 years. That means 2.5 years in Malaysia, 2 years in Canada. All right. For Ireland, there is 37,000 European dollar per year. Okay. If you go to UK, the tuition fee you have to pay in pound, roughly about 40 to 50,000 pound per year. Okay, so this is the tuition fee. Yeah, and okay, this is the picture of the campus. I want to go straight to the entry requirement. before I show you the sorry, the entry the facilities. Just give me a minute. Yeah, hold on, yeah. Okay. I hope, sorry. Okay, I hope you can see now. All right. I understand that most of you will be doing the A-levels program. So what is the minimum requirement for you to achieve in order to meet the requirement for the IMU MBBS program, okay, which is the 5 years program in Malaysia. For those who come with A-levels, you must have at least the grade of 3 Bs, all right, or the grade of ABC, combination of grade of ABC. Okay, subject required will be biology and chemistry. All right, over here, the third subject, we accept either physics or mathematics. But I do understand that in Sri Lanka, the Sri Lanka Medical Council only look at the biology, the chemistry, and physics subjects. So advisable that you come with these 3 subjects if you want to practice in Sri Lanka. Okay, and if you're looking at the credit transfer options, which is the partner medical school, in short, we call it the PMS MBBS option. Okay, the requirement will be slightly higher. We are looking at least 1A and 2Bs or 2A, 1C. This is the minimum requirement for our partner universities if you are interested. Okay, I would say our requirement, we have special arrangement with our partner universities to scale down the requirement to this level, which is the ABB or AC. Okay, if you apply directly, if you have done your A-levels and would like to apply directly to this country, to this university, normally they are looking at straight A's. Okay, straight A's or something quite similar. Okay, otherwise you will not stand a chance, because applying directly into these universities, application is extremely competitive. On top of that, you are required to sit for some entrance examination. Like if you want to go to Australia, you need to sit for ISAT and then maybe GAMSAT and others. Okay, and also you need to go through a very competitive interview sessions as well. Okay, in which a lot of students find it very difficult. Okay, so if you go through IMU, we obtain the approval from our partner university where students do not need to go through this entrance examination. Okay, you still need to go through interview, but it's not as difficult as what is being conducted by our partner university. So that is the advantage of you going through our pathway. All right, so yeah, and of course, whether you choose to do IMU and MBBS or the partner medical school options, all students are required to pass the interview selection because seats are limited. Okay, if you come with other qualification like Australian Year 12 or Indian pre-U, the Year 12 or any others, yeah, you can speak to us, then we'll share with you specifically. Okay, now I'll just quickly, let me just go back to the few more slides to show you the facilities in the campus. Okay, IMU, this is the, in IMU, this is the auditorium, which is the biggest hall, which can accommodate up to a few hundred people, all right, which can be used for class, for orientation, convocation, or any special function. Okay, and we also have this Chancellor Hall. You can see here it is in an exam setting. Okay, it can be used for classes as well. Normally in the past, this venue has been used for convention, seminars, conference as well. Okay, and in our university, we have Clinical Skills and Simulation Center. Okay, you see what happens is that during the 5 years of medical studies, you need to go to a clinical training in the hospital, in the real hospital I'm talking about. Before you go to the real hospital for the clinical training, we will start giving you the training before you go to the real environment, the real setting. Okay, so we have the Clinical Skills and Simulation Center where our medical students do the simulation training. Okay, we will have volunteer patients to come on board to act as the patients, and then you learn to interview the patients, and then you come up with the diagnostic report or that. Okay, so the practical skills is very important. In fact, in the 5th semester, somewhere in the second, which is the second, second and a half years, you have an assessment. Okay, for your practical skills, you have to pass before you proceed or progress into the clinical phase, the clinical training phase in the real hospital. All right. And here you can see we have our computer lab. We call it the E-lab. We have the library. We have the medical museum. In the medical museum, we place all the plastic models and some real specimens as well, human bodies, human parts. In this medical museum. So yeah, for those students who study the subject of anatomy, this is a very, what is that called? A useful place for them to use these equipments to study the different parts of the body, right? In the university, we do not just offer education, we actually offer real healthcare service. Okay, here we have our medical center. All right, this is a clinic, okay, which is open to the public, to everyone. Yeah, so any personnel or any people who are not feeling well, they can come and make appointment and see the doctor. Okay, we also have the oral health center. Okay, and this is where we give the training to the dental students. And this is also the clinic, okay, the dental clinic open to the public as well. All right. We have the student lounge, which is a hangout area for the students. We also have the dance room, which can be used for like a dance class, aerobic class, yoga class, and others. Yeah, we have a gymnasium for students to do workout. Yeah, another picture which is not shown here is we also have a basketball court. We also offer accommodation. Yeah. So normally you may ask, where do our students stay? All right, basically they stay in this apartment. There are a few blocks of apartment here. You can see there is another 2 more blocks, which is not shown in the picture. Okay, but all is within walking distance to the campus. Where is the campus? All right. If you look at the bottom of this picture, you see there's a shadow there. Actually, there is a shadow of the IMU campus. So yeah, you can tell the students just basically walk across the road, all right, the street, and they reach their accommodation. Okay, basically students will rent a room in these few blocks of apartments, okay, for their stay during their studies in IMU. Okay, IMU, our location, as I mentioned earlier on, we located in Kuala Lumpur. We are roughly about 45 minutes away from the airport, all right, the KL International Airport. And from the city center, that is about 10 kilometers away, roughly about 15 to 20 minutes drive to the city center. You may recall the landmark, the Twin Tower, that is a city center. All right, yeah, and next to the campus, you also have this LRT railway transit service as well. Okay, yeah, basically like a train. Okay, you can take the train to go to the city center, which is very convenient. All right. So yeah, and this another. This is a picture of our clinical campus. For those who are doing the 5 years program in Malaysia, you will spend 2.5 years in Kuala Lumpur. After that, the second part, where you do your clinical training, you will move to our clinical campus in Seremban. Seremban is even nearer to the airport, probably 30 minutes away. Okay, and this is where our students will be doing their clinical training, because attached to this campus is the it's a hospital. It's a government hospital. So students is just they just walk across to the hospital to do their clinical training. All right. And then we also have another 2 more clinical campus, which is in Johor, which is a state roughly about 3 hours drive away, okay, from Kuala Lumpur City, but it's very near to Singapore. Okay, this state is basically next to this to Singapore. We have 2 campuses in this state, that is Batu Pahat and Keluang. All right, yeah. This is normally meant for those who are doing the final semester. All right, meant for the students who are doing the final semester, they will come to these campuses to do the final part of their clinical training. All right, so that ends my presentation. Okay, now I open up to the floor for any questions.
Thank you, Jehan.
Yes,
so
yes.
we have questions flowing in, Mr. Jehan. So the first question,
Yes,
I think you could see on the chat box.
Okay, let me just close. Okay, let me see. Yeah. Okay. Where should I start?
Okay, so the question is, if
Yeah.
we have done a biomedical science degree in another country, studied in Sri Lanka, but awarded from a European university, are we eligible
Yes.
to do medicine in IMU? And if so, how many years would it be after the BSc in Malaysia?
Okay, all right. Yes, we do accept students who have completed a degree for admission into the medicine program. Okay, unfortunately, over here, the Ministry of Higher Education as well as the Medical Council, they do have a policy where we can't give credit exemptions. Okay, that means any eligible students who meet the requirement and pass the interview selection, they have to start from first year. That means you still have to do a 5 years program. All right. So what is a requirement based on the Bachelor of Science degree? We are looking at a minimum CGPA of 3.5 out of 4. All right, CGPA 3.5 out of 4 for a Bachelor of Science degree. Okay. So yeah, that is the answer to that questions.
Yes.
And,
I think,
yeah.
Mrs. Hassan, you got the answer for your question. But if we have any other student who would love to go ahead with any questions, yes. So the other question is, Mr. Jihan, regarding eligibility of transferring to partner universities.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is from Dr. Imtiaz.
Yes, Jihan.
Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, this is my daughter was listening to you, but I have a question for you. I was listening to you. That was a good talk. If you would be, once you finish, if you could show me the first 2-3 slides of yours, because I sort of missed it a little. And if you could just randomly show, I could just take an image of it so I can refer to it later on.
Okay, sure. Should I show it to you now? I can just re-screen.
Yes, please.
I'll reshare the screen to you.
Yes.
Okay, so your question is also about the requirement, right? To do that. Okay, I'll just also point out the slide that information to you. Okay, just hang on, yeah. Okay, so okay, in terms of requirement, yeah, you can take note of this information. Okay, as your daughter is interested in the credit transfer options, you look under the partner medical school MBBS, which is the PMS option. The requirement for A levels is at least 1A and 2Bs or AAC. Okay.
Mr. Jihan, what I really want to find out about the transfer program is, once she's already at IMU, what are the other criteria? Once she fulfills these entry requirements in the first 2 years, what are the requirements during her first 2 years for eligibility, further eligibility, please?
Okay, this is a good question. Okay, basically how it works is like this. Students will spend 2.5 years in IMU first, okay, and then they will transfer to the partner university in the 3rd year. Okay, but you see, there are so many partner universities. Okay, there are so many partner universities here. All right. Which one do they go to? Okay, you see what happens is in the second year or in the fourth semester, the student will go through a matching process. Okay, the student will go through a matching process. This process is the time where they will tell us which university the student want to transfer to. You see, there are so many universities here. Say, for example, okay, there are 15 universities. Okay, from Australia, from UK, from Ireland, from Canada, and New Zealand. Okay, but there are some universities here are not offering any medical program, but more for our other programs like pharmacy, the nutrition program. Okay, majority of them do offer medicine. Okay, so let's say, for example, there are 15 universities here. The student can select all 15 universities. Okay, but they will put down in ranking. Okay, they'll tell us which is their first choice, second choice, third choice, up to the 15th choice. Okay, so the student has selected the university. The student will also be selected by the university as well. Okay, how do the university select the students? They will look at their performance from the first 3 semesters. Okay, remember I mentioned just now, they will do the matching process in the 4th semester, and therefore the student have done already 3 semesters. So this university will look at the academic performance from the first 3 semesters. Okay, on top of that, some university will also look beyond that, such as their attributes. That will be information like their participation in the extracurriculum activities, their involvement in the social community work. Why do they need to do so? Because these students have to prove to this university that they are students who are not just good academically, but they are also an all-rounder in other areas. Like, for example, you have done a project, a social community work. Say, for example, you are a team leader. Okay, so you can talk about how you have led the team to complete the project. This talk about leadership skill, and then also indirectly you also talk about how you have overcome all the obstacles, all the difficulties to complete that. So this talk about problem solving skills and many more. Okay, these are just example. So a university will look at their, first of all, of course, their academic performance and also all these qualities in deciding whether these students is worth a seat to get into their university or not. Okay, so what I can say is, as long as the student do not fail, okay, as long as the student do not fail in all the semester, what is it called, the final semester, surely they can transfer. Why? Because in the medical program, whether be it in local options, which is the 5 years program, or the credit transfer options, seats are limited. Okay, for this particular credit transfer options, we can only take 100 students. Okay, we can only take 100 students. Why? Because combining all these universities, they only give us 100 places. Okay, unless they give more, of course, we can take more. But as of now, say it's 100 students. Okay, because 100 seats is being offered. Okay, so during application, the moment we reach the 100 students, we will not be taking any more students. Okay, so that means we only have 100 students. So that means every students are being guaranteed a place. Okay, so but we can't guarantee which university they are going to transfer, because that depends on their academic performance. As long as they pass, okay, they do not fail, surely they can transfer to one of them. All right, so that is the guarantee which we give to the student. Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Jehan. That was a very elaborate response.
Yeah.
And I have no questions on that. Thank you so much. Sure. And I have one more question.
Yes.
In your partner universities, we are very keen, Maria is very keen about University of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
But
Edinburgh, yes. Yeah, you can find somewhere. The logo is a bit small.
Okay, I thought maybe I can't see it too well. I can't see Edinburgh here.
Oh yeah, the logo is not here, but Edinburgh is one of
Edinburgh.
our
Okay.
Edinburgh is definitely one of our partner, and it has been also the most popular option among our students as well. I can show you a brochure. Just let me screen the brochure. Okay, in the brochure, maybe the logo for Edinburgh has been cut off.
No, that's not a problem. If you tell me Edinburgh is available, I'm fine.
Yeah, can you see here? Actually, Edinburgh is here. The logo is a bit small.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And Edinburgh is also is also among the most popular options. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yes. Any other questions? Because we have only 1 more minute to answer the questions. The student, we would highly recommend to visit IMC for the consultations, as we respectively do to IMU at our office. We normally take 1.5 hours to complete the consultation for each and every university. I think Mr. Jihan would agree with us, because after we conduct the professional, going ahead with the university applications. So I think if you all have any questions, you all could at the end of the session. I would like to also inform everybody that the time's up, and also just want to give out a huge to Mr. Jihan for joining with us today. Despite whatever the situation going on in the world right now, you've been able to take part of this event virtually. So we'll perhaps have another event sooner or later where we could accommodate a little bit more time for IMU and for the rest of the other universities as well. Very much, Mr. Jihan, and that the students actually got to know a lot of information with reference to why they need to select IMU in the next couple of years. So thank you so much for joining with us today.
Yeah. Thanks again to IMC for organizing these sessions, and thanks for everyone who attend the sessions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop by to IMC, and then I believe they will be able to get you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. All right, so to Mr. Jihan, we're moving on with the final session for today. So after this, of course, we will be able to answer everybody's questions. Mr. Intikab, do we have you online?
Hi, so I'm back.
Yes,
guys.
so to everybody, for everybody who's joining with us right now, we will be discussing about the very first government university discussion on today's session, which is the university in Belarus. So we have Mr. Intikab Zulfa, the Chief Operating Officer of IMC Education, to speak to you on Grodno. So the reason as to why we have Mr. Intikab here is because IMC is an official agent of Grodno State Medical University for Sri Lankan and Maldivian students who also operates offices in Belarus. So we have the license to directly speak to all of our students, and I don't think there's any other person other than Mr. Intikab Zulfa to give an insight to what Grodno is about, to what education in Belarus is all about, because we will be talking about the two universities in Belarus, Vitebsk State Medical University and Grodno State Medical University, which is basically the most demanded university by most of the Sri Lankan students. Intikab Zulfa, the floor is open for you, and go ahead with the details of the university. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. So this session is not going to take that long. I'll be concise and short as much as I can. As I was describing this in the beginning, we are basically going to finish with the last two most popular universities. So why people select the Belarus system is because, number one, it is state universities. So it is as if you are studying at the Sri Lankan universities, in the local universities, such as in University of Colombo's Medical College or Javardhanapura or Peradeniya. It also is affiliated with large government hospitals. So you want to have a large amount of patience to actually you actually will work ahead with. To work ahead with that, you need to get into the systems which has government hospitals. So if you look at these two are government hospitals based universities. Now why are we going with the Grodno State Medical University? Is because it is SLMC listed. Anyone who is very serious about it, we have already created our batch and we have already 40 students in this particular program. If you want to be part of this, you cannot come or wait until your pending results are being released. You need to speak to your counselors immediately because we hardly have time. As a responsible organization, we need you to sort out the SLMC clearance, which we will help you out with it, and we will get all those stuff sorted out. So let me just brief you what Grodno is going to give you in the next 5 minutes, and I will post it to Amila Kulatunga to speak to you about some of the questions which you would be looking forward to actually talk about, right? Okay, let me first have my spotlight done on my camera. Yes, there you go. So this is when myself and Amila were in the university. We went there, we were welcomed warmly by the staff there, and we have a Sri Lankan office here to take care of you. There is no one else who has a Sri Lankan office there. We have a permanent Sri Lankan office, not just for 3 days or 4 days. We have it for 6 years. We sign an agreement with the students or with the parents that we are liable and we are taking care of these services. We are also affiliated with other universities if you want to transfer, if you want any other help, because we have been working with this region for about 17 years. So there is no one who knows Belarus more than we do, and it is important that we give the entire service for all our Sri Lankans, because there are 1200 Sri Lankans entirely studying in this country. Close to about 300 or 250 plus students are only in Grodno itself. So the numbers are increasing, and it is a good thing that you have a big Sri Lankan community. So that's why when you come and meet us, we ask, what's your school? If you say Royal College, we connect you to the Royal College students there. If you say Lyceum, we have a large amount of Lyceum students there. It's like your own family who is there. Your parents will be happy that you are going to a university where there are enough number of Sri Lankans. So these are basically how the country is located, and I'm going to take you through a map immediately. You will be getting down in the middle of this center, which you can see shortly. Okay, right. You would be getting down in the middle of this country, which is where the airport is. It's called Minsk. And afterwards, you would be traveling to Grodno or Vitebsk. So the team with Grodno is already sorted. The team with Vitebsk is already sorted. IMC has started its initial classes for you to prepare for university skills. You have, if you have joined them, I think I can see some students who have already joined them. IMC has a free clinical class, a free anatomy class. I want you to come and speak to your counselors and participate in all this, because IMC is a place where a lot of things actually take place. So you would want to know about, yes.
Yes, we have Miss Marina joined in with us from our head office in Belarus as well. Just want to inform you, so you could also speak to her. So to everybody who's online, we have our university staff in Belarus. This is from IMC office in Belarus, Miss Marina as well. So Intikhab will continue the session along with Miss Marina. Over to you, Inti.
Sure. Hi, Marina. Can you unmute? Yes.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
Doing good. So I'm hearing from you after quite a long time. So we have Marina, who is looking after all our students in the Grodno State Medical University. You can look at the excellent reviews given towards the staff who is there to actually help you all out. Let's have a chat with her in the next 4 minutes, 1.5 minutes, which I'm going to be done with this. So this is basically the ranking of the university, and I'm going to the international acceptance of this university at the moment. Let me show you one screenshot about the AMC system, the Australian Medical Council system. As you can see, the university is recognized to transfer into other countries as well. Now, if you would like to actually see some of the pictures of the university and its classrooms, I'm going to take you all through that. This is a large hall which you initially will see when you enter the premises. This large hall is basically there for certain lectures, and certain common lectures. But each lecture has just 10 to 12 in a classroom, which I'm going to show you, where the university has a augmented reality device where they have the Anatomage 3D enabled table, which will teach you how to study anatomy. So this is some of the experience which our students get. Please note the classrooms are quite compact, and we are limiting it only to very few students here. Looking at other areas, we have an awesome anatomy section here, which you will be actually exposed to. These are the classrooms, which exposes 12 students roughly. Students will be very familiar with this professor. His name is Professor Boolan, Associate Professor of Chemistry. Follow us on YouTube, the channel International Medical Campus. You will find him taking you through the classrooms there and showing you like what's happening there. This is the histology class, which has 12 in a group. So you have an individual basis of discussing things with your lecturers one-to-one. So one-to-one, you will be talking with them individually, right? And they will come and check your books and things like that. They'll help you out with things. Apart from that, we have a e-library system. We have a physical library system which has all English medium books here. These are the photographs of all those. Also, we have a simulation center which has robotic electronic dummies like what you can see here. So we have each separated sections for various things. I'm showing you a device which has about 100 plus heartbeats of children being stored, and you will listen to these heartbeats and you will share your thoughts on what is wrong with that particular kid when you hear it. This is the workshop for surgery, and you can see how the workshops are happening. If you want to see a video of this, come and meet me at IMC. I'll show you these videos. This is a simulation for surgery, laparoscopy, etc. This is how it works. So it's those typical consoles where you would take guns and shoot and play games. Today, the same technology is used actually to do surgery. So this is a gynecology unit, which you have a robotic baby delivery really which takes place. So something for you to look into. Now, as you know, it's a state hospital. They have fantastic other hospitals. This is one hospital which I have visited with Amila. You can see this around. The photographs are there in our website as well. I'll show you the other hospitals in the region as well. Imagine this is in Sri Lanka, like I'm showing you the Kalbovila Hospital, the General Hospital, the Eye Hospital, the Psychiatric Division of Angoda, or the IDH Hospital or Cancer Hospital in Maharagama, Apeksha Cancer Hospital, etc. So these are the hospitals in different regions of what they have. Apart from that, let's talk about the food. So the cafeteria is awesome here. You have a coffee section, you have a section to eat, etc. Like what I'm showing you. These are credit card enabled, debit card enabled, so you don't have to carry coins or money in your pocket sometimes. You can use the debit cards. Yes. This is basically the gymnasium in the arena. You have certain gyms which you will be actually exposed to. Looking into the sports. These are the sports stuff which are there. So some people like to continue their extracurricular activities, leadership like United Nations programs, have a cricket carnival, have an athletic carnival. Okay, what if I'm good in sports, basketball? There is also a talent show. What you can see is that, are you good at are you good at acting, silent acting? Are you good at storytelling? Are you good at stand-up? Are you a stand-up comedian who can actually make people laugh? These give you an extra support, in your university education to actually fare really, really well. So it enhances your communication, leadership skills. Can you sing? Can you dance? Can you perform? All this kind of stuff. Lastly, coming into the hostels, I'm going to show you the hostels which I'm going to give you. We have something called the hostel block 4, which is what you would see now in your picture exactly right here. So this is when we had visited there, about a few months ago. And this is the entrance. You get a lobby, you get excellent lifts, you get a spacious room to share with your friends. So don't come alone, like come with your friends. We will allow you guys to share your rooms and things like that. You get a spacious beds, cupboards, chairs, tables, all this. washrooms, you get a gym, you get kitchens, you can cook, you just live a very interesting life. You can wash your clothes here. Just make sure that you have the washing powder ready. Everything else is basically free. The gym is here. Okay. These are two students from Royal College. I don't know how many of you all are from Royal who can recognize them. I was just having a conversation and a chat with them, when I was there. And coming to the latter part, I would bring Marina into the stream here. Marina, can we have you here? This is Miss Marina, who is in the picture. Basically, when you are there, you would like to know how the prices of vegetables are there. Where can I buy a rice cooker? Where can I buy a good thick winter jacket? Can you take me around the place? So you need someone to be there for the next 6 years. Marina and Dr. Slava are there for the next 6 years. So Marina, you can say hi, because we have a large number of students already. Already 40 odd students are registered for the Grodno State Medical University. And Marina, yes, over to you.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Perfect, we can hear you.
So, my name is Marina and I am student coordinator in Grodno, and I would like to tell some words about our work here. So we receive students at the airport. After that, we help them to settle down in the hostel or apartment if they want. During first several days, we go shopping with students, show them where and how to change money, what groceries it is better to buy. We are always in contact with the university, help students to pay for registration, tuition fee, hostel fee. After all these things, students start their education at the university. And during all academic year, we try to be there for students. I accompany students to hospitals, help them to open bank accounts, and I'll answer different kind of questions, even something like that, where is manicure place, or where to buy English book, and so on and so forth. So don't be afraid to come to Belarus and to get higher education, because in Grodno you won't be alone, because we are here and we'll help you to solve all your problems. And I'm very proud of the fact that some students told me that I'm like a second mother for them, and Grodno for them is their second home.
Thank you so much for those lovely words. And I basically bear witness to, thank you, Amila, I saw your message. I bear witness to what Miss Marina said. If you are going to stay in Belarus, thousands and thousands of kilometers away, you need a motherly and a fatherly figure to actually take care of you. You need a sister to be near you. If you're sick, to come and check whether you're okay. If you lost your phone, to help you find it. If you need to suddenly go and buy some medicines, you need someone to be there. IMC, International Medical Campus, is the only office who has been maintaining an office permanently like this. We have a physical building, we maintain your records, we give you the necessary service for 6 years. And this is proof. This is Marina, who is in the picture with all of our students in one of the outings they have done. So likewise, they will take you across the place, so that you can actually see how the place is, and get their help. So anything else with regarding to this to finish the presentation, and I'll be handing over to Amila. I'm showing you some of the hyper malls there, which you can see now in my screen. Buying stuff is very, very, very cheap here. So I ask everyone not to bring rice cookers or irons, because these are already there in the university sometimes. So try to make yourself available to buy things from here. You will have a fantastic life. You will become a doctor, one of the most noble professions around the world. And finally, I would present it with IMC is the official only representative to have an office here to show you our credentials and credibility. This is I hope Marina remembers this picture. This is exactly at the this is exactly at the one of the lobby areas, which actually has the name printed in the background. So Miss Marina and Dr. Slava are going to be together to help you all until the next couple of years go. Check our videos for the approvals of their services. So Dr. Slava will come to the airport to pick you up with the entire team there, and you see him in this particular part of the photograph. We are very close with the ambassadors at official levels. I'm going to finish with this picture. You see our deputy CEO of IMC, Amila, with the former ambassador of Belarus, and this is our group photograph with the former ambassador. So we have been in touch with the ambassador of Belarus for quite a long time, as you can see in this particular group picture taken in 2016. And this picture is a very recent picture taken with all our heads of the International Medical Campus. This is Amila presenting him a token of appreciation, and this is myself with the deputy CEO. Okay, guys, as promised, time is up. I am done with it. I would advise you that you guys have an amazing offer, and I'm just finishing off with this. IMC for Grodno State Medical University has the lowest fee in the island. There is no one who can match our fee. We have the lowest fee. Time is running. You need to come and meet us. We have a lot of work to do. We need to get your SLMC clearance done, which takes time. We need to have a lot of other activities done. We have a huge number of classes which happens here. One is a skills class for the university, which helps you in your university education. We have Dr. Burhan's clinical classes. Just get in touch with your counselors to be part of these classes. Also, anyone who gets registered for the Grodno State Medical University with us, guess what? You guys are going to get a stethoscope in complimentary with the International Medical Campus from ourselves. At least the least we can do to help your doctor dream come true. For those who don't have A-levels, you do have not to be afraid at all. We have pre-medical programs in Colombo, in Sri Lanka with us. You can join our pre-medical programs. So over to you, Mandarika and Amila Kulatunga. You can ask all your questions from us now.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tinti. I think we have a huge number of Sri Lankan students demanding for university education in Belarus. And since IMC Education is the only representative in Sri Lanka who has the license to officially work with the Grodno University and the Mbbs University, we provide the admission procedures and also the welfare services for the entire study period in Belarus. So I think, Mr. Amila, if you could also add something extra to our students, because I think the students who are online are prospective students towards studying medicine at Grodno.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you very much for your participation at this event. We managed to get down most of the universities from popular destinations like Malaysia and Belarus. Belarus, of course, is the destination where most of our Sri Lankan students are currently selecting because of numerous reasons. Because all the universities are government universities and the quality of education is pretty good. And most important, the clinical training actually. Now, if you go to Malaysia and if you go to Belarus, all clinical training, entire clinical training will be happening in government hospitals, right? You all know government hospitals are attracting majority of the patients. And also if you take the patients variety, it will be huge, not like a private hospital. So your hands-on experience will be really good when you do your clinical training in the government hospitals. I think Mr. Intikab rightly touched all these areas, and you get cancer patients, you get like accident and emergency, you get forensic medicine, all the disciplines, not like private universities where they do clinical training in private hospitals. And adding one more thing, now once you qualify with your medical degree, the other important thing is your internship or obtaining license in a particular destination of your choice to practice medicine. Now, you all know when you're coming back to Sri Lanka, or if you are going to Australia, UK, USA, you need to do a licensing examination. I mean, different countries, they have their own terminologies to name this licensing examination. In Sri Lanka, it is known as popular as Act 16, which is known as ERPM, Examination to Register Practice Medicine. Right? If you go to Australia, it's called AMC, Australian Medical Council Examination. If you go to UK, it's known as PLAB. And if you go to USA, it's known as USMLE. So all these destinations, as a reputed agent in Sri Lanka, IMC is tied up with all the medical licensing trainers in all these destinations. Now, let's say your vision is to go to Australia. So we have tied up with the Australian party, which is one of the best in Australia, who trains the students for Australian Medical Council examination. So we are not actually washing our hands after sending the student. Marina explained how well they look after you all in Belarus. And after getting the qualification, we help you to pass this licensing examination also with the correct guidance. And most of the students I know, they would like to come back to Sri Lanka and practice medicine in Sri Lanka. So ERPM examination is also pretty much challenging. So once you get the pretty good clinical training and the theory knowledge from Belarus, which is the core to pass your examination, and we will be guiding you for ERPM classes with our partners in Sri Lanka. We have partnered with best ERPM trainers in Sri Lanka, and they have gone an extra mile where they deliver the program online, not because of COVID, but from those days onwards, just to encourage students to enroll with ERPM preparation early, so you can do it from your university itself. So when you come to Sri Lanka, you are already prepared for the exam. So you will get to know all the context happening in Sri Lanka, all the scenarios happening in Sri Lanka, how the patients are being evaluated in Sri Lanka, and what are the differences, I mean, between the diseases, what you have there. So all these things will be discussed. What I want to say is, like, IMC as reputed agent, we do handle the whole portfolio services needed you to become a world-class medical doctor. So if you have any questions, you can post and I'm happy to answer.
There are a few questions, Mr. Ahmed, if you could check the chat box. So the first question is, can you explain about scholarships for Belarus?
Scholarships. It's like this now. Belarus, of course, it's a government university, so they don't offer any scholarships for the students, right? So some of the parties in Sri Lanka advertise that Belarus and those countries are providing scholarships. That is actually not a true statement. What they do, these parties who are sending students, they charge a lot of money from the student. Now, let's say, like Mr. Intikab told, we are the cheapest in Sri Lanka. So one can charge 2 or 3 times more than us. So they will give a small deduction from the fee that they are getting. So, I mean, just to encourage the students, still, actually, you will pay more than you're paying us. But university-wise, for the university fee, they are not offering any scholarships in Belarus because it's a state university. And when you are comparing all other destinations, their cost is already pretty much low. So they don't offer scholarships because of that. And someone has asked, could you give us to loan? Loan facilities are there. We have tied up with like banks like National Savings Banks, NSB. They have a beautiful loan scheme. So we can arrange loan schemes for you, for anyone who is interested in going for a loan. But you have to remember, I mean, loan should be repaid, right? So the bank will evaluate your parents or the borrowers. Now, borrower can be one of your uncles, one of your relatives, one of your close contact. So that is fine. But that borrower should have the repaying capacity. That means they should be a salaried employee or a person who is running a business, right? So we can arrange that, not an issue. Can we still get the SLMC approval for Grodno University for people who are doing A-levels this year? I think you are probably asking about the London A-levels, right? So if you are completing the London A-levels in May, June, you will be going in September for the September intake. Yes, still you can get the clearance letter from Sri Lanka Medical Council. Another question, my Cambridge A-levels results are 1A stars and 2As. Still not for, again, question is related to scholarship. still Belarus, they don't offer any scholarships for the students, right? If you're, I mean, we have two universities in Belarus, like one is Vitebsk State Medical University, but that is not yet approved by Sri Lanka Medical Council. But if you do not meet Sri Lanka Medical Council requirement, you can do a pre-medical program and go to that university with the intention of working abroad, not to come back to Sri Lanka, because SLMC will not give the chance for you to sit for the ERPM examination unless you have a minimum results of 2Cs and a D. Now, let's say if you don't meet 2Cs and a D, yet you can go to the university with a pre-medical program, and study medicine there and become a doctor in a foreign country, maybe Australia, UK, US, or any country of your preference, not in Sri Lanka, right? In that university, you have scholarships based on your, not from the A-level results, based on your grades or grade point average that you would achieve during each year. Now, let's say first year you score very high. When you're paying the second year tuition fee, you can get a percentage of. That percentage would vary from 25% to 15% from the annual tuition fee. But as far as the Grodno State Medical University is concerned, where all the A-level students are applying, A-level students who are meeting 2Cs and a D, 2Cs and an S or more, there are no scholarships being granted. You know the total cost for doing medicine in Belarus. So costing is pretty much straightforward in Belarus. Now, if you take some universities, actually you are not paying to the university directly. Now, if you take like, you know, some of the universities in Russia, some of the universities in maybe like Armenia or any other places, you are actually paying to the agent. I mean, all the course fees channel to the agent. So the whole fee is not going to the university. So you are paying unnecessarily to some of the agents annually, right? But Grodno State Medical University, you are paying directly to the university, the course fee, right? So the course fee would be $4,600 per year. So $4,600 per year can be split into two and paid every February and every September. And apart from that, for the hostels, health insurance, and medical checkup, medical test, which have to be done annually, you need to allocate another about $1,110. So altogether per year, your investment would be $5,710, right? So that is something around 1.1 million per year. There's another question: could we be able to have any sponsorship according to our performance? Like I told you earlier, not at Grodno State Medical University, but if you go to Vitebsk State Medical University after the pre-medical program, right, with the intention of working abroad, not in Sri Lanka, yes, in that university you have a performance-based deduction scheme, scholarship scheme. So which gives you from 25% to 15% waiver from the annual tuition fee. Another question I can see, in the PMS pathway in IMU, where would I be able to do my internship, as many of the transfer universities are not SLMC recognized unis? Okay. So if you are transferring to through the partner medical school option, any university in Australia, UK will not guarantee you, right? Technically will not guarantee you the internship. But, you know, as far as the partner medical school option is concerned, so far all the students who went through the partner medical school option to respective universities in UK, Australia, have got their internship in the respective countries. Right, they have secured the internship in respective countries, because, like, you know, all our Sri Lankan students have done really well in those universities. So they have got the internships in those respective countries. So then you will have, I mean, you will not have any issues of coming back to Sri Lanka. So you can do the internship there and you can start working as a medical doctor there. But again, I'm saying it's not guaranteed, right? It's not guaranteed, but by experience, we know all of the Sri Lankan students who have gone through the PMS option were able to secure an internship in the respective country, right? And other questions, if we didn't get SLMC approval, but still we can work in other countries like USA, right? Yes, you can. You can work because all our portfolio of universities are recognized in Australia, UK, USA, all these countries. So you are absolutely, will be able to work all in these countries, provided you pass the licensing examination in that particular country. So as far as IMC is concerned, like I stated earlier, we will help you to get through this examination by directing you to the right partner. For example, if you are going to USA, we are already tied up with Kaplan. Kaplan is the world best trainer for United States medical licensing examination. So if you get trained with them, you have a very high chance of getting through the United States medical licensing examination. So that is possible. Another question, if you are not having the requirements, are we still able to go to medicine in Grodno University? Grodno University will not have the pre-medical pathway. So if you don't have 2Cs and a D or 2Cs and S, you can't make it to Grodno State Medical University. But you can go to Viteb State Medical University through the pre-medical program. So you can contact us on individual basis. So we can guide you to enter the medical school on guaranteed basis. Again, you can't work in Sri Lanka, but you can work in any other country. Like I think you have posted the question asking whether you can work in USA. Yes, absolutely fine. You can work there. Is there any other course in Belarus apart from medicine? Yes, you have dentistry, and you have nursing courses, you have agriculture courses, but most of these other courses are taught in Russian language because medicine is the highest demanded course program there amongst the international students. So they conduct the medical program 100% in English medium, but most of the other courses, they do it in Russian medium or half English medium, half Russian medium. But the medical program, absolutely, the whole 6 years will be in English.
Hey, Ms. Tamila, if you could also touch on the statement now, since everybody was asking about scholarships, right? If you could also highlight about the fact that education in Belarus is the most affordable in comparison to universities in Malaysia that do offer scholarships. So if you could do a little bit of an elaboration on that, please.
That's what I told earlier. So you are paying a very small amount, for example, $4,600 per year. But if you take Malaysian universities and all, you are paying something like $20,000, $24,000 per year. So actually, even though you don't get a scholarship from Belarus, the amount you pay is absolutely lower than a university which is priced pretty high and offering a scholarship. So still, actually, you are, even though you are not getting a scholarship from Belarus, the amount you are paying is absolutely cheap. Now, for example, Malaysia, some of the universities, they offer scholarship. Your total budget will be about 27 million, and you will get about 4 million off. Still you pay something like 23, 24 million. But Grodno is absolutely cheap in that case.
Do we have any more questions from students? If so, you can directly, ask, place questions here. We have exactly 2 more minutes to answer your questions.
Now, we have shown you most of the popular pathways, right? So if you have the results or if you are on pending results doing the exam this year, please come and meet us, and you can make appointments with your respective person who contacted you from IMC side. So you can make your appointment and come soon and see us, because like these popular universities, they get a lot of applications per year, So they consider all the application first come, first serve basis. So if you want to go to a medical school this year itself, it is very important for you to apply now. So come and see us and lodge your application soon. So then you will be able to secure a seat within this year itself. And also now, sometimes you might do your London A-level examination in May, June, right? So some students are, taking, a gap year. I would advise all the students not to take this gap year, because medicine is, you need dedication, and as far as the time is concerned, it's not a 3-year management degree. It'll be at least 5 years to 6 year medical degree. So it's a commitment. So as soon as possible, you get into the degree, and you can be qualified at a young age, which is very important. So after that, you have to do medical licensing examination, you have to do internships. So it takes time. 1 year postponing for 1 year is not advisable at all, right? And also the rules can be changed. So different entry criteria can be changed. So apply as soon as possible. That is very important, right?
Yes, I think, is that it? Do we have any more questions? Because we can answer your questions within the next 2 minutes. Yes, we have one more question, Mr. Amila.
Can we get SLMC approval for people who are doing local A-levels? No. If you want to get Sri Lanka Medical Council approval, you need to present your A-level results. So on pending results, you can't get the SLMC approval. So you need, for the SLMC approval, you need to get an offer from the university, plus you need to have your A-level results with you. So those two are mandatory requirements. So if you are doing local A-level this year, hope you are doing it in August. So then you have to go to a medical school next year only. So somewhere in February, March, April, and September, October intakes.
Yes, I think that's it for now, Ms. Amila. I think everybody has presented their questions.
No
So thank you very much, Mr. Amila. So this is this is a kind reminder to everybody who is online. We urge you to fix your consultation times with us. Mr. Kulatunga would be available during the next week. So I suggest everybody to please call your respective counselor to book your appointments. We would be taking maximum of 1.5 hours to conclude one consultation. So based on the university that you wish to go to, we would be able to go ahead with the consultation. Number two, if if you have your A-level results with you now, and if you are on pending results, we urge you to take part in our free anatomy classes, which are conducted by a panel of doctors, right? So if you wish to take part in our free anatomy classes, you are once again requested to speak to our representatives, or rather to your counselors today, to book your seats for the free class. And also to keep in mind, as IMC is the only official agent affiliated to Grodno State Medical University with a 24/7 office in the Republic of Belarus, closer to the university, we would urge you all to put in your applications as soon as possible. So please do book your appointment slots within the course of next week, so that you could get an idea about how you need to apply for the SLMC approval, how you need to get your eligibility letter, and how exactly IMC would support you throughout the completion of your degree in whichever the destination of your choice. So once again, thank you very much for joining in with us today. We will be having phase 2 of this event perhaps within the next 2 weeks. And we want everybody to please keep in touch with us so that you will be updated on the latest events. So if you have any questions, please direct them to your respective counselors, and we will get back to you shortly within the next 2 weeks. Once again, IMC would like to give our greatest appreciation to everybody who joined in with us today on a Saturday. And we are hoping to see every one of you at world leading medical universities. Thank you very much.